Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bracy Sports Media. My name is Aaron Bracy, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Langston Galloway. Langston was a four-year starter at St. Joseph's University, and of course now is in his sixth season in the NBA and third with the Detroit Pistons. Langston, thanks so much for joining us here today on Bracy Sports Media.
Yeah, glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Langston, let's jump right into it. If I say the date January 7th, 2015, what does that mean to you?
Man, that means a lot. That's a historical day in my books, a day that changed my life for sure. And to get an opportunity to get called up that day and get my opportunity to play at the highest level, play where I wanted to play, which was my dream, playing for the Knicks, and it happened that day.
Let's talk about how it happened, because you were signed to a 10-day contract. It wasn't like you were given a year contract. Your first 10 games, you played 4 games, averaged 9.8 points, and shot 33% from three-point range. What was that first 10 days like for you?
It was nerve-wracking. A lot of guys, Lance Thomas, Lou Almanson, those are two guys that actually got 10 days as well alongside of me during that time period. And I was just, after the first 2 games, I was so hyped up, like, all right, yeah, now we got to start getting some wins and whatnot. And they really kept me level-headed. They just kept saying, hey, look, just take it one game at a time. Don't look too far, because you just never know. You never know what could happen if they can, release you or whatnot. So those 2 vets really stayed in my corner and then really kept me level-headed throughout that process.
And then the second day, you earned a second 10-day contract on January 17th of that year. Yep. And this is where you earned your money and your keep, is you went off during those 4 games, averaging 15 points and shooting 44% from 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, under the kind of pressure you had to be under, how did you manage to do that? And would you agree that those are some of the best games considering the circumstances of your life?
Yeah, I really, once I finished the first 10-day contract, I think Coach Fisher, the rest of the staff, the rest of the guys kind of got comfortable with relying on me, and then also too, I got comfortable playing in the system. We were in the triangle, and I was still learning at the time and adjusting to the NBA level, because it's a big difference between playing college, then going to the D League, and then making that jump into the NBA. But once I got comfortable and really found my lane, I really just took the opportunity and ran with it.
And then on January 27th, the Knicks signed you to a contract. I actually remember seeing you in the locker room at the 76ers game that March of that season, and it was so great to see you then. What was that season like, and how long did it take you to really feel like, hey, I'm an NBA player now?
I think, for real, it kind of hit me when I first started my first game, which was, I think I played 45 games. I started 41 out of 45. When I started and playing against the CP3s, the Westbrooks, the Kyrie. I mean, every single night there was a new point guard I had to guard, and I think that's when it kind of hit me like, okay, all right, I really gotta work on my game and continue to get better, because if I don't come out here and bring it every single night, they're gonna bring it at me.
Langston Galloway joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Langston, it looks great now where you are, but you took a bit of a financial risk to follow your dream to the NBA. As I understand it, after your senior year in college, you had a nice offer to play overseas, but you met with Coach Phil Martelli and decided that wasn't the route you were going to go, that you were going to bet on yourself and try and go through the G League, at the D League at the time, and try and make it that way. Am I understanding that story correctly? And why did you decide to do that?
Yeah, I had a lot of different options. I could have went overseas and chased the money, as most people would say. But I thought that if I can kind of just take it one day at a time and not rush into the process of trying to make my dream come a reality, I think that's what really paid off in the long run, where I kind of just went out there every single night knowing that, hey, look, if I get better, especially in the D League, if I got better every single day in practice, meeting new people, and staying here in the States, when I didn't have any financial responsibilities as a family at the time, just my girlfriend, which now is my wife, it was going to work out. And that's what I kind of always believed, and my faith kind of just got me through that. Just believing and trusting in the process.
And your hard work as well. Phil Martelli told me that as soon as you decided that, you got an NBA ball, and you and Jeff Arnold, your uncle, just went to work and just, you carved out. You knew you had to become a 3-point shooter. You went back to the 3-point line, and you just shot over and over and over and over. What was that process like, getting ready for professional basketball? Because then you were undrafted, and then once you got to the D League, what was the work like prior to getting to the NBA?
Man, to give you a crazy story, when I first picked up the NBA ball and started shooting from the NBA line, it was difficult. It was really difficult because I had to get used to that line, and it's a different strength when you're trying to shoot from that line. And I'm gonna give a lot of credit to my uncle, Jeff Arnold, and then Sully. Both of those guys were in the gym with me. I mean, countless hours just working and just trying to help me achieve what I wanted to achieve. And I give both of them a lot of credit because we were in there, and I lived in the gym at the time until I kind of continued to perfect it and get better with it. And it just was a process. It was definitely a lot of work that we put in, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hours.
Langston Galloway joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. So Langston, now you've established yourself, 405 career games, one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA this year. You're hitting at 40% from 3-point range. And you made 7 3-pointers in a game this year and scored 32 points in November. And also last March, you made 12 straight 3-pointers, which is unbelievable. You've obviously gotten comfortable from that range. What has it been like for you as an NBA player now, and how have you managed to shoot so well from the arc?
I think, like I said, all the hard work that I put in, all the sacrifices of just making the most out of my opportunities. The coaches that I've been able to play for, they put me in the best position for me to be successful, and that's what I give a lot of credit to. That first and foremost, and a lot of screens from my teammates, because and a lot of great passes, a lot of great point guards that have been around me that have fed me the ball to give me those shots. So I mean, that's a lot of credit towards those guys and my teammates. But at the same time too, it's like I've always just known that if I prepare the right way and put that hard work in, it was all going to work out. And that's all I really can contribute.
Physical skills, which speak for themselves. There's your kind of like your off court and your high character that everyone speaks highly about you. Your coach, Dwayne Casey, said that Langston is a pro's pro. And instantly I talked to Phil Martelli, and he said the same thing, that you're a pro's pro. What do you think that means, and why do you think coaches appreciate the way that you approach yourself off the court?
I think that I'm always just taking care of what might not be something that a lot of guys take for granted, but I really, like I said, the work that I put in, nobody really has to get on me about putting in that work. And then being able to handle my responsibilities off the court, when it's responsibilities in the community, when it's responsibilities of taking care of your family. I mean, it's so many different responsibilities that you have to take into consideration, and I think that's what they kind of speak on, and especially with Coach Casey, he's really given me that the next level of trust from him, is that he's kind of let me become my own leader in my own way. And especially with the team that we have and a lot of young guys around, I've been able to create that lane as I'm finishing up, or whenever I finish up my 6th season. It really will be, I'll be an old head in the league in consideration to a lot of guys on my team, and I'll be able to be a leader wherever I'm at next year.
Speaking of whenever you can finish up that 6th season, what have you been doing at home to stay in shape? Have you been able to shoot anywhere? Have you been able to work out at all?
Yeah, I've actually just been working out in the backyard. Me and my wife kind of put together like this makeshift gym. We've been lifting. I have like some conditioning units in my house. My wife has a bike. I have a rower. We actually have a treadmill as well. And And then I've been putting together the last couple of days. I've been putting together like this rubber court in the backyard, so that way I can go out there and shoot a little bit more. So it's gonna be fun to do that.
I also noticed in a local news segment that you're practicing on your putting in your house.
Yeah. I was able to be a part of No Kid Hungry and Perfect Practice, the Invitational, and just making some fun of it. But at the same time too, it was for a great cause, and I was glad to be a part of that.
Langston Galloway joining us here today on Bracy Sports Media. Langston, we met when you were at St. Joe's. You started all 4 years there. When you think back to that time, what stands out to you in terms of memorable moments? Obviously, you won the A-10 title. I would guess that would be one of them. But what are some things that stand out to you about those 4 years?
I think the biggest thing is I was telling this to somebody the other day. It's like we went from my freshman year going, I think, like 10-20 to the best team in the A-10, and it wasn't like an overnight switch when we went from the worst team to the best team, but it kind of was a gradual effect of freshman year was terrible. Then second year we got a little bit better, made it to NITs. Third year made it to NIT, and then fourth year okay, all right, we're finally here. And, I mean, we had so many different guys on the team: Ronald Roberts, Halil Kinasevic, C.J. Aiken, Carl Jones. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so many guys. I mean, DeAndre Bembry. I mean, Isaiah Miles. Like those guys are memorable because we all made a legacy at St. Joe's in different ways, and we all kind of brought that program from the ground where it was at to back to being on top.
There are two things that really stand out to me. I remember whenever I would come to practice, I would usually come at the beginning or at the end. And I don't think I ever came to practice at the beginning or the end when you were either out there shooting early or out there staying late. Talk about your work ethic and your practice habits. Am I correct that you would do that?
Yeah. I was always, like you said, I'm a gym rat. I love being in the gym. I love seeing that progression in my game. And all the coaches, I mean, Coach Bass, Coach Arnold, Coach Duda, Coach Martelli, all of them. I mean, I almost worked out with everybody, I mean, thousands of times. I mean, I literally used anybody that was in the locker room, or anybody that was moving around, and I saw them. I was like, hey, look, come on, I'm going to grab you. I need you to rebound for me and work me out, do something. So I kept everybody busy around St. Joe's for sure.
The other thing I remember has to do with your toughness. I don't remember what year, and I didn't look it up, but it was at the Barclays Center. I forget the game, but you went down and your tooth got knocked out.
Yep.
And you went to the bench. You might have been on the bench for a second or a minute, and you went right back in the game. And I don't. Do you remember that? Do you remember that happening? And what was that like?
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. Playing against Notre Dame.
Okay.
And I think it was a coach versus cancer game, something like that, at the Barclays, and dove for a loose ball. It's so funny because Jaron actually ended up being on my team in New York.
Okay.
We talked about it a couple of times. He dove on my head and knocked my tooth out. And I think that I give a lot of credit to the idols that I watched growing up, AI, Kobe, and those guys, and they never like falling down, getting hurt, whatever. Like they always would come right back. They never would take a play off. Never would. They would never leave the speculation of like, man, this guy's soft or anything like that out there. So that's how my mindset and how I carry myself is like, hey, look, I'm gonna be out there and be the toughest guy on the court, whether with anything happening.
Langston, I know you and Coach Martelli still keep in contact, and now that he's out in Michigan, I believe you had a chance to go to a game this season, a Michigan game, and talk to Coach Martelli, and also met with Juwan Howard and Howard Isley. What was that experience like, and what do you remember about that night?
Yeah, getting a chance to catch up with Coach. We've been trying to catch up for the longest, and our schedules were just conflicting every single time he was playing, I was playing, or if he was playing at home, I was on the road, and that's basketball for you. It's just a lot of different games that are kind of the same time, and they're trying to get fans in the building. So me getting a chance to go see them play against Nebraska was really cool experience. I hadn't been to a college game. I think it's like that was a year. Yeah, a year. It's about a year before that. And getting to see him and see him smile and you know, being the lively Phil that he is, Phil Martelli that he is. And I was just glad to see him in his own element and enjoying himself, because Michigan seems like a great home for him. And he's doing a great job helping Juwan with all that he's doing.
Langston Galloway joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. All right, Langston, one last thing I wanted to cover with you, and this is really cool. I had no idea you had this interest at St. Joe's, but you're a sneaker fanatic. So much so that you started a company called LG Kicks 9, which probably most people watching this may know about. Why did you start the company?
Yeah, so it kind of started as just me talking about kicks on my page. I started with like social media just to see the interest with people seeing what's in my collection and what I had planned out. And then all of a sudden, me and my wife kind of thought of some ideas to kind of build it, and we kind of started our own like motto, like your story, your collection. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about in the sneaker culture, and with a lot of people that come to our page and check it out. It's always about getting other people's opinions on what they think that is in their story behind each kick, or maybe it might be their collection. Like, hey, I might have a collection of Adidas or Nikes or Jordans or whatever it might be. So it really speaks to the individual and how they like to do different things.
If you haven't seen Langston's shoes, you have to check them out on lgkicks9.com. Langston, what can you describe the process that goes into coming up with a new theme for a shoe? Is it just what's off the top of your head? Do people send you opinions, ideas? How does that happen?
So me and Andrew Lewis, we basically go off of like the 90s feel. Being born in the 90s, that was the biggest thing for us. And then also too, we try to go off of where I'm playing at, the time period, and then just you know, emotional attachment to a lot of different things. So I'm always trying to find ways to be creative with it and just try to touch as many people as I can along the way.
Well, that was my next question. What is your goal with the brand?
Yeah, no, I think that right now I'm going into sneaker free agency this upcoming summer, whenever the summer starts, like I was saying. And I'm just excited to see what's next, see what, you know, different brands can offer me. And then also, too, just seeing if this is like the next step for me to kind of build out my own platform and grow that.
Langston, one more thing I have to tell you is that my son and his friends love being the Pistons on NBA 2K20 because my son likes to just shoot, and that's perfect for using the Pistons with you on the team.
For sure.
Langston, thank you so much for joining us here today on Bracy Sports Media. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notifications bell, and definitely follow Langston on Twitter at LangGalloway10. Check out his website, lgkicks9.com. And of course, you know, watch him in the NBA, seeing what he's doing his thing, living his dream. Langston, thanks again for joining us here today.